Imagine a village where every mirror doesn't just show your reflection, it reveals your deepest fears, your hidden regrets, and your untapped potential. This is the story of Elias, a traveler who stumbled upon the mysterious village of Lumina, where he discovered the most profound journey wasn't across the land, but within himself. Before we dive deeper into this transformative tale, make sure to subscribe to Tales Story House and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories that uncover the extraordinary in the world around us. In the heart of a remote valley, shrouded by towering mountains and dense, whispering forests, there existed a village unlike any other. This village, known as Lumina, was a place of legend, its existence whispered of in hushed tones by travelers who claimed to have stumbled upon it and left forever changed. Lumina was not ordinary. Every building in the village was crafted from mirrors. From afar, the village gleamed like a cluster of stars fallen to the earth, reflecting the sun by day and the moon by night. The houses, the town square, even the humble well at the center of the village were made of this reflective glass. It was said that these mirrors held a mystical property. They did not merely reflect the physical form, but the true essence of a person, laying bare their emotions, fears, and the deepest corners of their soul. One day, a weary traveler named Elias arrived at the edge of Lumina. He was a man weighed down by the burdens of his journey, an arduous trek through life that had left him cynical, resentful, and closed off from the world. Elias had spent years searching for wealth and glory, yet he had found only disappointment. His heart had grown heavy with bitterness, and his reflection in the streams he passed often looked unfamiliar, a stranger staring back at him with hollow eyes. As Elias approached Lumina, the gleam of the village caught his attention. Curiosity overcame his fatigue, and he ventured closer. The first thing he noticed was the silence. Unlike other villages bustling with noise and activity, Lumina was eerily quiet. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the faint whisper of the wind as it passed over the mirrored surfaces. When Elias stepped into the village, he was struck by its peculiar beauty. The mirrors reflected the surrounding mountains and skies, creating an illusion that he was walking amidst the clouds. But something about the reflections felt off. It wasn't just the scenery mirrored back at him. It was himself, but in a way he had never seen before. His image in the glass revealed not just his travel-worn clothes and unkempt hair, but the shadow of anger etched into his face, the deep furrows of worry on his brow, and a faint aura of sadness that clung to him like a shroud. Elias roamed the village, captivated yet uneasy. As he moved past the mirrored walls, each one showed a different facet of his soul. One mirror revealed the envy he felt for others who had succeeded where he had failed. Another reflected his guilt over choices he had made, paths he had taken that led to the pain of others. He tried to look away, but the reflections were everywhere, inescapable and relentless. At first, Elias was defensive. He reasoned that the mirrors must be enchanted to deceive him. Yet as he continued to wander, he saw not just his own reflection, but glimpses of the reflections of those who must have lived in Lumina. The mirrors showed scenes of laughter, tears, moments of triumph, and instances of failure. But what struck him most was the honesty of these reflections. There was no hiding, no mask, no pretense. The mirrors bore witness to the full spectrum of human experience. Elias came to the central square, where the largest mirror of all stood like a sentinel. It towered above him, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly light. As he gazed into it, he saw not only his present self, but moments from his past, his childhood innocence, the first time he felt the sting of betrayal, the day he abandoned a friend in need out of selfishness. The mirror also hinted at his potential future, fragmented images of joy and sorrow that seemed to depend on the choices he had yet to make. Elias's initial discomfort grew into introspection. The mirrors forced him to confront parts of himself he had buried deep. He realized how much of his life had been spent running, from his fears, his regrets, and his vulnerabilities. The village of mirrors was not just showing him who he was. It was asking him to face himself, to acknowledge his flaws and strengths, his mistakes and virtues. As days turned into weeks, Elias began to change. He stopped avoiding the mirrors and started studying them. He sought to understand the emotions and memories they revealed. The reflections no longer filled him with dread, but with a strange sense of liberation. For the first time, he felt truly seen, not by others, but by himself. He started to forgive himself for his past mistakes, to let go of the resentment he carried, and to embrace the possibility of becoming better. Elias knew he couldn't stay in Lumina forever. The village was not a place for permanent dwelling, but a crucible for self-discovery. On the day he decided to leave, the mirrors seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging his transformation. As he stepped beyond the village boundaries, he felt lighter, as though the weight of his burdens had lifted. The journey back to the world was not easy, but Elias was different now. He carried with him the lessons of Lumina, the importance of self-awareness, the courage to face one's truths, and the understanding that change begins within. When he reached the next town, he found himself kinder, more patient, and more willing to connect with others. The reflections he had seen in Lumina stayed with him, guiding his actions and choices. The Village of Mirrors teaches that the most profound journeys are those within. True growth comes from self-reflection and the willingness to confront both the light and shadow within us. By understanding and accepting ourselves, we can transform not only our own lives, but also our interactions with the world around us. Elias's time in Lumina became a quiet legend. Travelers who met him spoke of a man who seemed to understand people deeply, as though he could see their invisible struggles and joys. Though Elias never returned to Lumina, the lessons he learned there shaped the rest of his life, proving that the Village of Mirrors was not just a place, but a state of being, a willingness to see oneself clearly and strive for growth.